Good evening to all of you. I would like to, can you hear me by the way? Okay, very good. So good evening to all of you. I would like to welcome you to our first webinar organized as part of the Emerge project. My name is Marinos Papaioakeim, and I'm a project manager in Cartel, and I'm very pleased that I will serve as the facilitator of today's webinar. We are gathered today in order to focus on a critical discussion about the fostering citizen participation for an inclusive democracy. This webinar is organized under the Emerge project, which aims to strengthen the civil society and promote the civic participation in Cyprus. The project goal is to increase the understanding of social and political issues among citizens, to build the capacity of CSOs for their long-term sustainability, to encourage collaboration between the CSOs, that we're having a lot of events, and we invite you to follow us on Facebook in order to see our upcoming events. And of course, one of the primary aims of the project is to raise awareness about the contribution of CSOs in Cyprus. As part of the Emerge project, we have organized and we're planning to organize some more events and activities like webinars. This is the first webinar of a series of 6 webinars. We also develop online courses where you can find them in our website, workshops, awareness campaigns, and of course public consultation. These initiatives are designed in order to engage and empower either individuals, either organizations, in order to play a more active role in the civil society. Furthermore, I would say that we have developed a range of learning resources and tools, either to support the individuals, either to support the civil society practitioners and organizations. Now, moving to today's webinar, with title Fostering Citizen Participation for an Inclusive Democracy. We believe that this is a significant step in our effort to promote participatory democracy. We aim to explore and to discuss the strategies that support the CSO and the citizens on their journey towards their active involvement in our society and in general in the democratic processes. Today, I'm very happy and we are very privileged to have a panel of distinguished speakers, entrepreneurs, I would say, in the field of active citizenship. We have with us Dr. Nicolas Kyriakides, co-founder of Oxygono, and of course a leading figure in the Cyprus forum and Nomoplatform. Nicolas brings a wealth of knowledge and experience in the participatory democracy. So Nicolas, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
In addition, we have George Isaia, a policy officer at Oxygono and an operations executive at Nomoplatform, which will offer insight into the intersection of policy and the digital innovation in civic engagement, which is another innovation of the Nomoplatform. Thank you, George, for being with us.
Hello, Marinos. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having us here, and hope we are going to have a nice and informative discussion.
Thank you. And of course, we have with us Semeli Panagidou, a project manager at the NGO Support Center, where Semeli was inspired to share with us her experiences in empowering civil society and how the NGO Support Center promotes and fosters the active citizenship in Cyprus. Thank you, Semeli, and for your participation in our today's webinar.
Thank you, Marinos. It's good to be here.
So, to avoid any more delays, just to inform our participants that we will have a panel discussion format where our speakers will have the chance to discuss some issues related to our topic, to the active citizenship and civic participation. And then we're going to have approximately another 20 minutes where the audience, the participants, they will have the chance to ask questions, either practical, either more theoretical, about the organizations that we have today. So I think that is all clear. Let's start our discussion, and allow me to discuss with Nicolas Kyriakides as a co-founder of the NGO Oxygono. So, Nicolas, my first question is about the Oxygono itself, the NGO Oxygono. So, can you provide us with an overview of Oxygono's vision about participatory democracy and how this is aligned? I mean, the active citizenship and the participatory democracy with your organization mission and goals.
Thank you for the question. First of all, to make my answer more clear, maybe I should give some insight on how Oxygono was formed and then shaped through these 10, 11 years. First of all, we were a group of students, myself and two fellow students, who wanted to participate in the public discussion. We had never been involved in any other form of participation, neither NGOs or political parties. On the other hand, we thought we felt that we had something to say, and we felt that we wanted to, to be there. I mean, in Cyprus, it wasn't very common to participate in NGOs which sort of do advocacy or participate in the parliament or public consultations, especially back then. Now I'm really happy to see that this started changing. But in 2011, this was the exception. So first of all, we started Oxygono as a blog, and we started writing some opinions, some articles, and then we saw a gap that I mean, there have been a lot of political parties, a lot of political youth organizations, or think tanks with a specific opinion on certain matter, but there was no platform, no independent platform that would work in fostering democracy, in bringing people together to discuss, to improve the quality of the public dialogue, to bring policymakers closer to citizens. So that is how Oxygono evolved in its current form, which now is an organization working on improving the policymaking process in Cyprus and beyond. By the way, the name, our name will change on the 1st of January to Oxygen for Democracy, since now we have been participating in a lot of international projects, and also the word democracy should be included in the name because that's what we're working for. And the overall vision is that citizens, and by citizens, I mean NGOs, business people, the academia, the media, everyone apart from policymakers, they should be a part of the policymaking process. The policymaking process should be structured because, I mean, participation without organization is anarchy, which is also bad for democracy. And the vision is to create these tools, like to improve the public consultations process, to the parliament to become more transparent, more open, the discussions of the parliamentary committees to be live streamed, lobbying, which is the activity of citizens engaging with policymakers, to be regulated, so both for reasons of transparency and also to encourage citizens to participate, and you know, a lot of public discussions, you know, meaningful discussions that would both help citizens to be educated on certain matters and also help policymakers to take ideas from citizens to incorporate in the legislation, and so that legislation is more you know, democratic and more just and more qualitative. I'm muted.
Yeah, I'm muted. Thank you very much, Nicolas. I mean, it's very encouraging that we have NGOs like Oxygono, and thank you for the announcement that you're gonna change also your name. By the way, it is a very good name. I mean, Oxygen for Democracy, which create also the connotation, you know, with the necessary oxygen that we need in order to have democratic processes. Thank you very much. And of course, in the later stage, we're going to have more time to discuss about more specific of what you have done and what you're planning to do. Now, let's move to the NGO support center and to Semeli. So Semeli is the question to Semeli is, I want to discuss with you about the role of NGO support center and how it promotes active citizenship and civic participation.
Okay, so first of all, just to introduce the NGO Support Center, it's a non-governmental, non-profit organization. It's an association that has been dedicated for the past 20 years. It's been active for over 20 years, actually, in the development and strengthening of civil society in Cyprus and also in other countries in the European Union through collaborations and regional activities. Our vision with regards also to civic participation and active citizenship is that the basis for a healthy democracy and for opportunities for participation is a strong and empowered civil society, organized civil society. So the vision of the organization really is to work towards a dynamic, active and reactive civil society in Cyprus that can participate and advocate for democracy, for dialogue, and to enable civic engagement. More specifically with regards to our work and what it covers, in the past years, we've been specializing more in facilitating access to funding for local civil society organizations through regranting and fund operation programs, where we try to act as an intermediary between the funder and organizations that do work on the ground in Cyprus, to ensure that there's more opportunities for them to implement activities. And there's also a greater opportunity for organizations that are smaller and more newly established to compete for funding and to contribute towards their sustainability. Within these programs, we also have the opportunity to continue our work in capacity building for CSOs, which is something that has been a big part of the organization's work since the beginning. And through these programs, we really have the opportunity to take a targeted approach to consider and also analyze the needs of organizations, specifically with regards to the context in Cyprus, and to create tailored capacity building programs to strengthen the organizations, and as a result, engage more citizens actively in participatory processes to affect the issues that they are facing and that impact them. Another important thing, which also comes as a sort of product of the work that we do, is to raise awareness about the role and impact of civil society in a healthy democracy, and to make more visible the value of the work of civil society and of citizens' initiatives to the promotion of democratic values and human rights, etc. So that's something that's important. I think it's really important also in the Cypriot context, because there isn't always such a good narrative about the work of civil society organizations, and there isn't always enough appreciation for it. So it's a constant need, I think, to emphasize that and to contribute to raising awareness. And also, we participate in advocacy activities to strengthen civil society and to protect civic space, and also with regards to the role of civil society in decision-making processes, which, as Nicolas also mentioned, is something that is still needs to be developed so that it works in a more structured and effective way. Also, through these activities, we aim to improve the legal landscape of civil society organizations, to create a more enabling environment for them to have maximum impact through their activities, and to protect their right to exist and to contribute towards a healthy democracy in Cyprus. We also help and support individuals and citizens who want to become active and to form their own initiatives, or to set up an organization themselves by guiding them through the process of registering an organization under the legal framework, and providing information to help guide them through the process, as well as like continuous support in the form of sort of like a help desk if they need to follow up with any questions with regarding to that process. So I think we try to have an impact and be involved in the various stages, whether that's having a direct role in bringing citizens into contact with civil society organizations and the more organized civil society, to enable them to become involved and encourage them to have access to processes, to be active on topics that they care about. Also, in terms of supporting organizations, building their financial sustainability, and ensuring that the environment for civil society in Cyprus is healthy and enables the strengthening of civil society and the support of democratic values through that. And also on another level, to advocate for the role of civil society in decision making, and to make communication with public authorities, government bodies, in order to try to impact that. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Semeli. It seems that you're doing an excellent and a lot of work in the field of civic participation, and especially with the CSOs. Of course, you can share with our participants, the website of NGO Support Center, where they can navigate out there and explore for any opportunities that may arise from your project. Thank you very much, Semeli, and of course we're going to have the chance to talk more specifically about particular projects in a later stage. Now I'm going to George Isaia, policy officer at Oxygono, and of course operations executive in Nomoplatform. So George, could you explain us what Nomoplatform is doing exactly? Because you're doing an excellent job out there, but I think this is an opportunity for some of our participants to explore of what you are doing. And the second part of my question is about the digital aspect of your activity. As we all know, Nomoplatform is a digital platform. So my question is, how have the digital platforms play a role in our days in civic participation, based, of course, in your experience?
Yes, of course. Thank you very much, Marinos. So, hello everyone. My name is Isaia, and I'm the operations executive of Nomoplatform. Nomoplatform is an independent initiative of the NGO Oxygono that basically aims to increase transparency within the Cypriot Parliament by offering each citizen the opportunity to validly monitor all the process carried out within the Cypriot Parliament. If you visit our website, which it's in a link in our chat, it's www.nomoplatform.cy. You can see all the pending legislations that are now being discussed in the Cypriot Parliament, and also you can find out anything that is being discussed in any relevant committee, what the MPs vote for, what new laws are being implemented. Also, you can find some biographical information about our MPs, and so on. Basically, we monitor everything that is being carried out within the Cypriot Parliament. And this is really important because the Parliament in Cyprus votes the new laws that are going to be implemented and come into force. So there was a need, there was a lack of information regarding the parliamentary work, and we've started this digital platform in order to give access to those kind of information to everyone. Regarding the digital platforms aspect, yes, of course, it's really important because somehow we live in an era of open information, public information. And I mean, if you have something digitally, it's available almost for everyone to have access to, and to be able to, know what's going on, be informed, so that you can take more comprehensive and justified decisions about your public policy. So basically that's it from my side. I mean, we are doing our best. We somehow think that we've managed to put some positive pressure in our parliament. Prior to Nomoplatform, the official Cypriot Parliament didn't have any notes regarding the parliamentary committees. They didn't post informative notes about the pending legislation. But now, after the creation of Nomoplatform and through having some discussions with the President of the Parliament and the Secretary General, we think that we've managed to put a positive pressure and see those positive changes in the Parliament of Cyprus.
Thank you very much, George. Just a following up question. Do you have any other examples from other countries that they're having a similar Nomoplatform?
Yes, of course. The example that somehow we are in a collaboration, it's Bully Watch Greece. Bully Watch Greece is basically some kind of a similar platform that monitors everything that is being carried out within the Cypriot Parliament. But I think the best example, and also I'm going to put the links here for both Bully Watch, and then the second example is the legislative train of the European Union. So the legislative train is a platform, an official platform of the European Union that lets everyone knows where are all the pending legislations that the European Union is currently discussing. You can see from the very first draft of a document until the very last voting of the European Parliament, what is being discussed, what the MPs are changing in the law, what they are, excluding or including. And it's much more informative than Nomoplatform, but we are aiming, to have that kind of level at some point in the future. But yes, there are similar initiatives. The best example is the legislative train of the European Union, Bully Watch Greece, but also some other watchdog journalism organizations that monitor the process of the parliament, of the presidency, and so on, in general, the government.
Great, thank you very much, George. Later, I have some more questions about, the products that you're delivering, let's say, to the people, to the subscribers of the Nomoplatform. But let's leave it up for the later question. Now I'm going back to Oxygono and to Nicolas. So, Nicolas, I know that you're doing a lot of activities, a lot of events, a lot of initiatives. So my question is, if you can describe, or if you want to discuss, the strategies that you're employed as an Oxygono in order to bridge the gap between the citizens and the governmental bodies, in order to foster the collaboration and the mutual understanding. So, putting in other words, if you can describe some particular initiatives that you're doing, and as a backup question, I will say, how do you measure the impact of these initiatives, if this impact can be measured? Do you have any metrics or indicators that are used in order to consider us as success something of these initiatives? Thank you.
Great questions. Thank you. First of all, about the strategy and what we're trying to do. First of all, we're trying to touch upon all branches of government, of the government. So we think that we have touching upon the legislative branch with Nomoplatform. We're trying to engage with the executive branch through the Cyprus Forum, where we invite ministers, commissioners, deputy ministers, together with other experts. We also started the Cyprus Forum Cities, which is a specialized forum on local government, which now it becomes even more relevant in Cyprus with the forthcoming reform and the elections, and more and more people realize that a lot of decision making comes from the local government and the municipalities. So that's that event is every April, the Cyprus Forum Cities in Limassol, together with the municipality of Limassol and the PAC. And the Cyprus Forum is in every September. So they have 6 months. 6 months. So it's every 6 months we have a big event, let's say. We also have a smaller event on the administration of justice, so touching upon the judicial branch. That's every December. So the next one is on the 15th of December, in 10 days, and we do it together with the University of Nicosia. And so these are the main projects, the local projects, the Cyprus Forum Cities, the Cyprus Forum, the Procedural Law Unit event at UNIC with having to do with administration of justice, Nomoplatform, and recently, because we think that policy making in Cyprus is not, it's not enough discussing in Cyprus without having any relationships with other policy-making centers globally that affect Cyprus, primarily Brussels, and then perhaps to a less lesser degree Washington and London. So working together with the Delphi Forum, which are our partners for organizing the Cyprus Forum, they do have satellite events in these locations I mentioned, and we started having presence as Cyprus Forum in Brussels every October in their forum, and soon in Washington in February. Now going to the second question, and I mean the plan is to keep these initiatives and little by little trying to, as George said, put some positive pressure and achieve some changes. And regarding the impact, I mean, this is the $1 million question, and everyone is asking that, and everyone is who is engaged in the civic society constantly questions themselves: is what we're doing meaningful, and is there some impact, or are we just working in vain? First of all, I think we did have some small wins. For example, the regulation of lobbying, which is something that we have been advocating for. The legislation has passed, and now it will start being implemented. Live streaming in the parliamentary committees. I mean, the official parliament wouldn't listen at all, and now we are considering it. And other more substantive issues, like gender equality in politics. We have been organizing a panel in every conference, and other issues, touching upon the environment, sustainable energy, and all different matters. And together with some partners like CSI, we have started some initiatives to measure the impact. For example, with CSI, we started this quality of life index, where they present, they do some research and field field work, like using different tools like surveys or focus groups, and we measure we use some indices about whether there has been any change in different sectors like transparency, gender equality, and other issues. So every year, and we just started this last year, so we're trying to see whether there has been progress or deterioration in those sectors that we have been working on. I mean, these are the main. We also after every conference we produce a report with all the suggestions and commitments by politicians. We send them to the policymaking centers, to ministers, to MPs, so that it's not just an academic discussion. We want to see those ideas being implemented. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that in the different events, apparently, because we are a small team, and we are an organization which has limited resources, of course, and we cannot of course know everything. And I mean, this is the essence of participatory democracy. It is that every it should be based on evidence-based suggestions. So what we do is that we partner up with research centers, think tanks, and other organizations, and we ask them to create these discussions and those initiatives in their specific field of expertise. Like we have been working, for example, we work with Transparency International on issues of transparency. We invited. We work with the World Bank, who organized another panel on economic matters, and with other institutions. And I mean, we want the discussions to be part of a greater effort to change some things, not just create random discussions, bring people together just to talk, and then everyone goes home and nothing happens. We want to, if there's a strategy to change a law, for example, because it's old, because it needs some reform, we want, those efforts to be presented in our conferences, to create some momentum, to help unlock some situations, and eventually see positive change.
Thank you very much, Nicolas. I would say that you mentioned small wins. I would say big successes, and not not small at all. I mean, you mentioned a lot of things that, 10 years ago, it was impossible to talk about it. So thank you of what you're doing. And thank you, of course, for your replies on my question. Now moving again to Semeli and to the activities by the NGO Support Center. So my question, Semeli, is what challenges have you faced in promoting, the concept of civic participation, or maybe you can mention the challenges that the CSOs, the main and the most common challenges that the CSOs are facing in the field of active citizenship.
Thank you, Mariano. I think the challenges faced in civic
You can also,
participation.
by the way, sorry for the time. You can also mention some of the projects that you're doing, and then you can come up with the challenges of the CSOs. Thank you.
Thank you. So, okay, in terms of the projects that we're doing, as I mentioned before, we're focusing on regranting programs lately because we believe we not only believe, we have actually a lot of reporting from organizations and through surveys that one of the major challenge for civil society organizations in Cyprus is access to funding and the possibility to even have paid staff and to be able to implement the activities that they would assess as needed for the groups for their beneficiaries and for their groups. So one of the projects that we are running that is trying to address this issue is the Active Citizens Fund Cyprus program, which is also supporting the Emerge project, which is implemented by Kyriakides. And there we had some specific priorities. There were some also country-specific priorities that had to do with fostering bi-communal cooperation, but also with reaching out to underserved areas and smaller, less experienced organizations. And I think that in terms of promoting active citizenship and civic participation, it's often more promoted and there's more access to this in the more urban areas, and specifically Nicosia when we're talking about Cyprus. So I think there is a little bit of a challenge to reach out to those citizens that are in more rural and underserved areas in Cyprus, and there's always it's a difficulty that we face as an organization when trying to reach out to these areas with opportunities and with access to information, because it's really something that has to be done through time and systemically, so that actually the civil society in these areas is also strengthened and empowered and gains the capacity to participate more actively. It's the reality that a lot of the organizations and initiatives in these areas are often smaller, are often purely volunteer-based, and so the lack of access to resources and to information at the end of the day also contributes to affecting the active citizenship and civic participation in these areas. We have had some really good outcomes from the Active Citizens Fund Cyprus program with regards to this. We have been able to fund some projects that were targeting specifically areas that don't have so many opportunities, and we're able to actually engage young people from those areas and citizens in discussions with their local municipalities, and to give them more opportunities to participate actively in decision-making processes, but also in just creating this contact so that they know that there is a process there that they can take advantage of. So that's one of the challenges I mentioned, is that. And then also what we constantly come across is what also Oxygono is very successfully working on, and has identified really a gap there in Cyprus, where we really need to enhance the role of civil society in the decision-making process, to make information about ways of participating more accessible, to have more transparency in the way that decisions are being made, and to actually establish a legal framework that will define this this process and enable citizens to contribute to these processes more effectively. So other than the Active Citizens Fund Cyprus program, we're also currently implementing another regranting program called BUILD, which is funded under the SERVE program of the European Commission. And we're implementing it in collaboration with Bodo-Saki Foundation in Greece, and simultaneously providing funding opportunities to civil society organizations in Cyprus and Greece in a very extensive capacity building program as well. Again, there is a focus on extending support to smaller and less experienced organizations, and also the fact that we can act as intermediaries in this process enables us to reach out to these organizations with smaller grants, and grants that can be more easily managed by organizations that don't have necessarily that much experience in managing funded projects, and enabling them to really compete for this funding. And also a third project that has a regranting component that we are implementing actually with Citi and with Arif, who was in this meeting, is called Place in Cyprus, and its main aim is to increase the capacities in advocacy organizations across the divide in both Turkish Cypriot and Greek Cypriot communities, and to increase their capacities, but also facilitate the creation of cross-communal advocacy partnerships to strengthen the role of civil society organizations in the decision-making processes that affect both communities. And as a result, we will also have a small grants program to fund some advocacy initiatives that will result from these cross-communal partnerships. So yeah, there's also, I mean, there's this sense that you really need to be inclusive in the communities that you engage, and to improve maybe on the ways that we network and outreach to more underserved areas.
Thank you very much, Semeli. I assume that, in relation to the requirements and the more details about the programs that you're offering can be found on your website. And of course, Semeli, as a project manager, can provide you with all the necessary details. Thank you, Semeli. I mean, we know that from first hand that you're doing a lot of work in this field. Now, last question to George about the, again, I'm insisting to the digital aspect of active citizenship, which is it is a trend. I would say it's not a trend; it's the establishment. Let's say right now. So, George, my question is the following. It has to do about the impact. I assume that when you're doing a digital active citizenship initiative, you have more quantitative criteria and metrics. But at the same time, so the question is about the impact that you have and what are the metrics, and the second is about the challenges of this kind of digital active citizenship initiatives. Thank you.
Okay, first of all, regarding the metrics, I mean, for Nomoplatform, we monitor everything that's going on in our platform. We have approximately around 80,000 users so far. Approximately 300 people visit the platform every day. We have more than more than 2,000 legislations uploaded in the platform, almost 2,000 discussions in the relevant committees, and many others. I mean, and that's really inspiring for us. I mean, when we started the platform, we've only had around 50 to 70 people visiting the platform every day. And now, as I've mentioned, more than 300 people visit the platform every day to get informed about everything that's going on within the Cypriot Parliament. Also, many people send us emails regarding specific pending legislations. They want to know more about specific, matter that they might hear in the news, and they want to know more. Again, phone calls from active citizens, but also from companies that wants to know more about specific legislations. So that's regarding the metrics of Nomoplatform. Also, in general, regarding the aspect of digital citizenship, as Oxygono, we also try to promote some other relevant digital tools, such as public consultations that can be made possible through platforms like e-consultation, which is a governmental platform that hopefully, when it's going to be fully implemented, every citizen will be able to visit the platform, be informed of all the pending governmental strategies or legislations that the governments want to implement, and they can submit their proposals or their thoughts online by logging in the relevant platform. I will send the link in a few minutes. Also, we're trying to promote e-petitions. E-petitions is a legislation that is currently being active in the European Union in general. Through e-petitions, if a citizen wants to start, a legislative procedure for a specific topic, they can post an e-petition online in a certain website, and if they manage to collect a specific amount of signatures, the European Union legislation, it's 1 million signatures, they can somehow force the European Union to take action and try to implement the suggestion. In Cyprus, we do not have such a legislation. There was a pending law in the Cypriot Parliament that will implement these e-petitions in Cyprus, and if the law was to be voted, we would have the opportunity in an online platform to go there, submit our proposal, and if we manage to collect a specific amount of e-signatures, then the government or the parliament, they are going to be again somehow forced to implement our suggestion. And what was the second part, Marinos, regarding digital citizenship?
Second part,
challenges.
Yes, very briefly about the challenges that you're facing as a digital active citizenship initiative. In case you have, maybe you don't have.
I mean, from my perspective, I think mostly we don't have, because most of our users are young people that they want to know what's going on and want to be more actively involved. I mean, for older people that may not be really familiar with navigating through the platform, we have those kind of problems. But most of the times, those people directly call us and ask about relevant information, and we provide them. So really, as I've said before in my first statement, I think the digital aspect really helps the citizens to be more actively involved by giving them the relevant info directly, without, you don't need to go anywhere or ask for someone to give you the relevant information. You have it online in a portal, and you can use the info as you please. So I think not a big problems there.
Thank you very much, John, also for your remarks. I know that we ran out of time, as always happening in this kind of panel discussion, but I think all the insights that were given by our panelists were very useful and very practical. So I urge all the people that are in to go and explore and navigate through the websites of all of our initiatives, through the Emerge project, the NGO Support Center, Nomoplatform, and of course Oxygono, to see what we're doing in the field of active citizenship. Now, I know that we passed the planned time, but I will ask our participants, in case that they have any questions, they can either to chat, write on the chat, and their question, and of course the panelists and the speakers that want to answer, or maybe all of them, or they can open their mic and they can ask directly the question. Are there any questions, remarks? Okay, I have a last question for you guys, and this is a question to all of you. It's I want to conclude, with a more inspiring perspective. So I will ask you about, looking ahead, what are your plans and ambitions on how to promote the participatory democracy, and how to empower the citizens to be actively engaged in the civic life. So this is a common question for all of you. Let's start again from Nicolas for your last remark on this.
George, do you want to go ahead?
Many years, of course. Basically, as we've already mentioned, now we are trying really hard to advocate about lobbying, about public consultations, about people being more actively involved, and we're doing so by attending informative seminars. Also, is something that we're currently doing. We are organizing seminars, so we let people know how they can be actively involved, what are their rights regarding as citizens in Cyprus and in the European Union, and basically that's it. We try to go everywhere that we might find people wanting to know more about how they can be actively involved in the policy making. And please, everyone here, feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions regarding any legislation you don't know about, regarding of how you can be more actively involved. What are your rights? What is the governmental obligation regarding your rights as a citizens? Please feel free to reach out to us. You can find our emails online, and that's basically what we're trying to do, among with the other programs that we are currently running, Cyprus Forum, Nomoplatform, Cyprus Forum Cities, and so on.
Thank you very much, George. I assume that you cover also the Oxygono's part. I don't know if Nicolas wants to complement anything.
Yes, just 3 small points. The first point is that policy making and participation in the democracy does not belong to the politicians only. It belongs to all of us. And it's not the privilege of anyone. And and on the other hand, our obligations and our duties as citizens that do not stop voting every 3-4 years. And we have to be constantly active and contributing to the public discussion. Secondly, I think that we're wasting time in changing some fundamental things that will improve the quality of life of citizens. So, I mean, all of the suggestions that most of the times come from other more advanced and developed countries, they will happen here eventually. So why lose time? For example, having our parliament open and our parliamentary committees live streamed. It will happen at some point because almost all member states in the EU have it. So we will have it. Why, for example, we just started having e-justice in courts. Other countries had it 10, 20 years ago. Why lose 20 years when something will happen and be resistant to change? And the third issue is that sometimes we get disappointed when we see policymakers or officials or people who have authority and power to take some decisions to avoid engaging in public discussions. But this is changing, and I think we should keep trying and asking them to participate because it's their benefit as well. And they need the citizens, they need the ideas of the citizens and the support of the citizens. So we need to keep pushing.
Thank you very much, Nicolas. Totally agree of what you're saying, especially the phrase that democracy and the participation does not belong only to politicians, but belongs to all of us, and it is our responsibility to chase all of these initiatives. And last but not least, our support center here, the NGO support center, Semeli.
Yeah, I mean, I also second what's been said, and I think it's really a matter of transparency and accountability, and also just the overall benefit to the life of the country to facilitate and enable these processes. So even within our work, one of our aims is to continue to contribute to that and to strengthen our advocacy actions as well, especially with regards to enabling the role of civil society in decision making, and especially with regards to the legal framework that defines the operation of CSOs, because we've seen that there's a lot of organizations that struggle with that, and it comes as an obstacle to active citizenship and to civic engagement at the end of the day. And also our aim, of course, is to continue to be able to provide opportunities to organizations to provide support for the implementation of these sort of activities that really have a great impact in the sector and in society in Cyprus through various programs and capacity building, and through networking and creating collaborations with other organizations across the EU and across other regions to be able to share knowledge and make information on good governance, for example, accessible to the organized civil society in Cyprus, and to enable citizens to know their rights and to be motivated to participate more actively in society. So in a nutshell.
Yeah, thank you very much, Semeli. So at this point, since we passed the plan and the schedule time, I mean, the aim of this webinar was not just to talk theoretically about active citizenship, but was to bring together successful cases of active citizens and centers that they support the active citizenship. So I urge our participants to visit their sites in order to get benefited from all of these initiatives, of what they're doing, from their projects. So now, in case that you didn't know Nomoplatform, you didn't know Oxygono, the NGO Support Center, and of course the Emerge project, you can visit our website and you can navigate out there to see of what we're doing. Last but not least, I will say that this is the first webinar of a series in the frame of Emerge project. We're going to have another 5 webinars, online webinars on different topics. We started with the main topic of the project, which was about active citizenship and civic participation. You can be in touch with us through social media, through our website, either the Quartet social media, either the Emerge social media, to see about the upcoming events. Taking the opportunity, I would like to thank Semeli Panagidou from the NGO Support Center, Georgie Isaia from Nomoplatform, and of course Nicolas Kyriakides from Oxygono for their insightful remarks. Thank you guys for the support and of course for your time. And of course, I would like to thank our participants. I hope that this webinar was helpful and practical for you. We know that it's not enough 1 hour to talk about active citizenship. Thousands of pages and books have been written and about this. So through our projects and initiatives, where we believe that we can take the active citizenship in a more practical level. That's all by my side. Thank you again, all of you, for your time. And of course, we hope that we're going to see you in the following part of the Emerge project activities.